You look at the clock and see 11:11. Make a quick wish, right? Yeah, you've been doing it wrong for years. At 11:11 at night, you're going to do something super specific for exactly 11 minutes that'll rewire your subconscious while it's in the most open state of the whole day. But it's not visualization. It's not affirmations. It's not asking the universe for stuff. It's something totally different that Joe Dispenza discovered studying brainwaves, but he only taught it to a tiny group of people. If you ended up here, it's no accident. Your soul knows it's time to discover this exact method that works, because it taps into the moment when that critical voice in your head completely shuts up. Over the next 25 minutes, you'll discover not only the 6 exact steps of this technique, but why this time is so powerful, it can transform your reality in weeks. And listen, if you feel the universe brought you here today, drop a comment writing 11:11 is my time. This way, you lock in this transformational energy with me. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we're diving into a technique that only people who are truly ready to level up can master. What I'm about to show you isn't about getting stuff, it's about becoming someone different on a brain level. For exactly 11 minutes at 11:11, you'll step into an upgraded version of yourself in a way that your brain can't tell the difference from reality. Get ready, because when you finish this video, you'll have the most powerful method for rewiring your subconscious in your hands. It was just a regular Tuesday when Joe Dispenza was in the lab in California, looking at brain scans from his patients. For months, he'd been noticing something weird in the tests. Between 11 p.m. and 11:30, people's brains went into a state he'd never seen before. And you know what was crazy? At exactly 11:11 at night, something happened that changed everything he knew about how our brain works. The scans showed that at this exact moment, 2 important brain waves joined together in this special way. It was like the brain was waiting for specific instructions, he told me years later in a conversation we had. In this unique moment, that annoying voice in your head, you know the one that's always criticizing you, it just stops talking. And your subconscious? At this exact moment, it becomes like a curious kid who wants to learn everything. No fighting back, no questioning. Just soaking up whatever you teach it. Joe got so curious about this discovery that he decided to test this wild idea. If the brain really was in this special state at 11:11, could this moment be used to change old patterns way faster? Now, here's the thing almost nobody gets when they see 11:11 on the clock. You're not supposed to make wishes to the universe. Everyone does this, closes their eyes, asks for money, love, a new car, and that's exactly why it doesn't work. The universe isn't some delivery service that drops off whatever you order. And you know what's funny? While you're sitting there making little wishes at 11:11 like, oh please let me win the lottery, your brain is in the perfect state for real transformation, but you're totally missing it. The real secret Joe discovered is mind-blowing. At 11:11 you don't imagine having something. You become someone different. For 11 minutes you become a person who naturally is successful, confident, loved. It's like changing clothes, but on the inside. The difference seems small, but it's huge. It's like the difference between begging someone to give you a gift versus just buying what you want yourself. One is being needy, the other is being powerful. Well, Joe tested this idea on himself first. For 30 straight days at 11:11 at night, he did something very specific. He wasn't trying to get anything external. He was changing who he was on the inside. The results were so crazy good, he actually got scared. On day 15, Joe noticed he was acting totally different. He said yes to giving an important speech he would normally turn down out of fear. He started writing a book he'd been putting off for years. Even the way he walked changed. On day 30, 3 incredible work opportunities showed up out of nowhere. But the coolest thing wasn't the opportunities. It was that Joe wasn't anxious or desperate for them anymore. He'd genuinely become the type of person who naturally attracts that kind of stuff. That's when he decided to teach the technique to some special people, folks he knew would actually stick with it. And the results that started rolling in were so incredible that he decided to study the whole thing scientifically. What happened next will blow your mind, because one of these people was Emily, a 34-year-old woman I met personally during one of Joe's workshops in Denver, Colorado, in March 2023. She gave me permission to share her story as a real example of transformation. Obviously, results vary from person to person. Emily wasn't in a good place when she showed up at that workshop. Actually, she was at what she called total rock bottom. Divorced for exactly 18 months, raising her 8-year-old daughter alone, living at her mum's house in Littleton, a Denver suburb, because she couldn't even afford rent for a tiny apartment. The divorce was a nightmare, not just emotionally but financially too. The whole process lasted 8 months and cost about $12,000 in lawyers, money she didn't have. Her ex-husband had stuck her with $23,400 in credit card debt she didn't even know existed, plus a student loan of $15,600 that was way overdue. Emily found herself literally overnight sharing a tiny 100-square-foot room with her daughter at her mum's house in Littleton, trying to explain to a kid why their whole world had turned upside down. And the worst part, she'd completely lost confidence in herself. "I felt like a total fake," she told me during our coffee meeting on Capitol Hill in Denver, 6 months after the workshop. "For 8 years of marriage, I basically let my ex-husband decide everything in my life. Where to live, how to spend money, even what clothes to wear. When I found myself alone, I realized I didn't even know who I was anymore." At work, things were rough too. Emily had a solid career in digital marketing at Comcast before stopping when her daughter was born, a decision she made because her husband pressured her. When she got back into the job market 18 months after the divorce, she discovered her field had totally evolved. TikTok ads, influencer marketing, AI automation. She felt completely out of the loop. Between January and March 2023, Emily sent out 67 resumes, she counted every single one in a spreadsheet, and only got 4 interview calls, all for entry-level positions with salaries 40% lower than what she used to make. She did some freelance work through Upwork, designing Instagram posts for $15 to $25 each. It barely covered gas and groceries. "I'd literally tried everything you can imagine," she told me, showing me a list on her phone. Therapy, $120 per session, did 8. Career coaching, $300 per month for 3 months. Online courses, Google Ads, Facebook marketing, LinkedIn learning, meditation through Headspace. Affirmations I'd write on the mirror every day, even made a vision board with magazine cutouts. Emily had spent over $2,100 on personal development in the previous 12 months, money she honestly didn't have. "I'd put it on credit and feel guilty afterward," she admitted. Emily was starting to believe that maybe she was just one of those people, born to struggle. That success was for other people, not for her. That's the state she was in when she showed up at Joe's Rewire Your Brain for Success workshop at the Denver Convention Center on March 18, 2023. She'd put her last $297 on her credit card for registration, money that should have gone to her minimum payment. "I was there more out of desperation, really," she admitted during our coffee. "It was like my final shot before accepting that my life was going to be mediocre forever. I thought, if this doesn't work, at least I tried everything." On the morning of day 2, March 19th, Joe presented the 11-11 technique to the group of 43 people. He didn't present it as magic or some mystical secret. He showed slides with real data from MRI studies, brainwave charts, published scientific research. "Forget everything you know about asking the universe for stuff," Joe said that morning. "Forget visualizing things you want to have. That doesn't work because you're trying to change the outcome without changing who you are. It's like wanting to harvest apples while planting banana seeds." He continued, "What I'm going to teach you now is different. It's about using a specific moment when your brain is ready for change and taking advantage of it to literally become a neurologically different version of yourself." Emily told me something in those words hit deep. For the first time in months, she felt a spark of real hope, not that fake kind she'd been trying to create with mirror affirmations. During the one-on-one session, each participant got 15 minutes timed. Joe told Emily, "At 11:11 at night, you're not going to imagine having $5,000 in the bank or your dream job. You're going to become, for 11 minutes, a person who naturally attracts abundance and amazing work opportunities." The difference might seem small, but it's revolutionary. Instead of visualizing external stuff she wanted to get, Emily would embody internal qualities that naturally create those achievements. "How would it feel," Joe asked, If you were naturally confident, creative, strategic, and professionally valuable, how would this version of Emily walk? How would she talk in a video conference? How would she react when someone questioned one of her ideas? The method Joe taught Emily was super detailed. Every single day, without skipping, at exactly 11:11 at night, she'd follow the 6 specific steps he'd developed through his research. On the first night, March 19th, something happened that I totally didn't expect, Emily told me, stirring her coffee. I started crying, not from sadness, but from recognition. Like I'd found a version of myself I'd lost a long time ago. It was like finding a childhood photo you didn't even remember existed. During those first 11 minutes, Emily didn't think about the $2,400 in debt or getting a job. She just let her body experience what it would feel like to be a confident, creative, and valuable version of herself. It was weird, she told me. It was like I'd accessed an Emily that existed before the toxic marriage, before the low self-esteem, a version I didn't even remember anymore. In the first 7 days, March 2026, Emily started noticing small but measurable changes. She woke up at 6:47 instead of 8:15, made household decisions faster, stopped automatically complaining about everything, traffic, bills, politics. My mum was the first to notice, Emily said. On the 26th, she was like, "Honey, you're not grumpy when you wake up anymore, and you stopped complaining about the news." Small things, but they stood out. Her daughter reacted differently too, started wanting to hang out with her mom more, asking more questions about school, laughing more during dinner. But it was in the second week, March 27th to April 2nd, that things started moving fast in a way Emily documented everything in a journal she showed me. On Thursday, March 30th at 9:23 a.m., Emily was checking LinkedIn when she saw a message she almost ignored. It was from a recruiter named Lisa Chen from Techstars Recruiting. "Emily, I saw your profile and was impressed with your previous experience at Comcast. We're filling a marketing manager position at a fintech startup here in Denver. Starting salary $4,800 month plus equity. Interested in chatting?" Emily showed me the screenshot of the message. "Look at the date," she said, pointing, exactly 12 days after starting the method. The crazy thing, Emily had never applied to Techstars, had never even heard of the company. Lisa Chen had found her profile through a search for Digital Marketing Colorado that included inactive profiles. "My first reaction was panic," Emily admitted. That internal voice immediately went, "Fintech? You don't know anything about that. Salary's too high, they'll figure out you're a fraud." But then something different happened. A calmer voice responded, "Why not? You've always been good at learning new stuff." It was exactly the voice of the confident version she'd been stepping into at 11:11. Emily replied to LinkedIn the same day, professional but excited. They scheduled a video call for April 4th, Tuesday. During the 4 days of prep, Emily realized she was approaching everything differently. Instead of focusing on resume gaps, 18 months out of the market, she naturally started talking about unique value, experience with big brands, plus fresh perspective, plus eagerness to learn fintech. The interview was at 2 p.m., lasted 47 minutes. Emily felt genuinely present, asked questions about customer acquisition cost and lifetime value that impressed Lisa. "Emily, I loved our conversation. You have exactly the profile we're looking for. Solid experience but growth mindset. The position is yours if you want it. $4,800 per month to start. Review in 6 months based on performance. You in?" $4,800. 85% more than the Instagram freelance work. More than she made at Comcast before stopping. But what impressed Emily most wasn't the amount, it was how she reacted. For like a split second, my old brain whispered, "This is too good to be true. There's gotta be a catch." But immediately that centered voice responded, "Why not? You added tons of value at Comcast, you'll add value here too." Emily said yes on the same call. She'd start April 17th, exactly 29 days after beginning the 11:11 method. But Emily had already figured out something huge. She hadn't won that opportunity by luck. She'd become the type of person who naturally attracts opportunities like that. The Techstars position already existed. Lisa Chen was already doing LinkedIn searches. But it was the shift in Emily's digital presence and energy that created the magnetic pull for the connection to happen. The difference is subtle, but game-changing, she explained to me, finishing her coffee. Before I tried to get things to prove I had value. Now I recognize my value and things show up as a natural result of that. When we met, Emily had been at the company for 4 months, had already gotten a raise to $5,200, August 8, 2023, and was leading a campaign that generated $1. Tatemin pipeline. More importantly, she'd gotten her own apartment in Cherry Creek, paid off $8,400 of debt, and her daughter was in a better school. But let me break down exactly what was happening in her brain during this process, because this'll help you apply the technique way more effectively in your own life. Your brain runs on different frequencies throughout the day, literally like a radio that changes stations. During the day, especially in work situations, stress, or when you're problem-solving, you're mainly operating on beta waves. Beta is the frequency of action, analytical thinking, but also anxiety, worry, and self-criticism. That's why trying to do positive affirmations or visualizations during the day rarely works. Your mind's in beta mode, critical, skeptical, resistant. It's like trying to plant seeds in concrete. The information doesn't sink in, doesn't stick. As night goes on, your brain naturally slows down. Around 10 p.m. you start entering alpha waves, a more relaxed, creative, receptive state. That's when you get more thoughtful, when insights start popping up naturally, when you can see situations from different angles. But at 11:11 at night, and it has to be exactly at this time to work fully, something extraordinary happens that lasts until 11:22, creating a window of exactly 11 minutes. Alpha and theta sync up in a frequency Joe called direct programming state. Theta is the wave of lucid dreams, deep intuition, connection with inner wisdom. It's also the state little kids naturally stay in. That's why they soak up information so fast and without filters. When alpha and theta sync up, you get the best of both worlds, the relaxed openness of alpha with the deep rewiring capacity of theta. In this state, your subconscious becomes super active and totally open, while that critical voice of your analytical mind pretty much turns off. It's like having direct access to your brain's operating system without interference from surface-level programs. And here's the secret that changed everything for Emily. Your subconscious can't tell the difference between a real experience and one you imagine intensely enough. If you can genuinely feel at 11:11 what it would be like to be your best version, not just think about it, but experience it with your senses, emotions, body, your brain starts creating new neural pathways as if that experience were real. These new pathways aren't just positive thoughts. They actually change your brain chemistry, modify how neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin get released, shift your hormonal patterns. This shows up as real changes in your body posture, your voice tone, how you process information, the decisions you make, the opportunities you notice and grab. Emily didn't manifest a job. She rewired her brain's identity to operate as a naturally confident, valuable, and professionally competent person. And when you are that person, attracting matching opportunities becomes natural, almost inevitable. The difference is subtle but totally game-changing, she told me during our follow-up Zoom call in December 2023. Before I tried to get things to feel good about myself. Now I feel good about myself, and things show up naturally. But there's a very specific technique to make this happen. It's not just closing your eyes at 11:11 and daydreaming. It's a scientifically developed method that activates this brain rewiring precisely and effectively. And I'm going to teach you everything now, step by step. The moment you've been waiting for has arrived. I'm going to show you exactly how to use the neurological power of 11:11 to rewire your identity and transform your reality. But pay attention to every detail, because how well this works depends on how precisely you do it. First, understand the core principle. It's not about what you want to have. It's about who you need to become for that to be natural in your life. So a truly wealthy person doesn't get anxious about money. They just are prosperous in thought, feeling, and action. A person who has healthy relationships naturally gives and attracts love because they love themselves. The technique rewires your identity at the deepest level. You're not trying to convince your conscious mind of something new. You're literally changing your subconscious software to run from a new version of yourself. The method works like this every single day without skipping, at exactly 11:11 at night. And when I say exactly, I mean exactly. 11:10 doesn't work. 11:15 doesn't work. It's got to be precise, because that's when that specific brainwave sync happens. Step 1. Set up your space. 15 minutes before, at 10:56, you start getting ready. Turn off all electronic devices within 6 feet. Phone, TV, computer. The electromagnetic stuff from these devices messes with the subtle brainwaves you need to access. Pick a spot where you won't get interrupted. Your bedroom, a quiet room, even a closet works if it's the only private space you've got. The important thing is that it's your space for these 11 minutes. Put a comfortable cushion on the floor or use a chair with a straight back. Your spine needs to be aligned to let energy flow properly. Lighting should be minimal, just enough so you feel safe and know where you are, but not so much that it overstimulates your brain. A small candle worked perfectly for Emily. Some people use a really dim nightlight. The goal is to signal to your brain that you're entering a different state from normal daytime mode. Keep a glass of water nearby. Brain rewiring is a process that makes you a little dehydrated, and you'll want to drink water right after. Step 2. Special breathing. At 11:09, sit comfortably with your spine straight but not stiff. Close your eyes gently and start the breathing technique that'll sync your heart and brain in a coherent frequency. Breathe in slowly through your nose, counting to 4. Don't force it. Just let the air come in naturally while you count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the air hit your belly first, then expand your chest. Hold your breath for 4 counts. During this pause, imagine your heart expanding with golden light. This isn't just visualization. Studies show that focusing on your heart during controlled breathing creates real, measurable heart-brain coherence. Breathe out slowly through your mouth, counting to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The longer exhale activates your nervous system that brings on deep relaxation and openness. Do this for exactly 2 minutes. Emily timed it at first, but after a few weeks, her body already knew intuitively when 2 minutes were up. This breathing isn't just relaxation, it's neurological prep for rewiring. Step 3. Set your intention. At exactly 11:11, with your eyes still closed and breathing already regulated, you'll set your intention with a very specific question. Don't think about what you want to have, get, or receive. Ask yourself, who do I need to be for your desire to be natural in my life? If you want financial abundance, don't visualize money in your account. Ask, who do I need to be for prosperity to be natural in my life? The answer might be someone confident, who offers real value, who makes smart money decisions, who feels worthy of abundance. If you want a healthy relationship, don't imagine the perfect partner. Ask, who do I need to be to naturally attract and keep healthy love? The answer might be someone who loves themselves, who has clear boundaries, who communicates honestly, who's complete regardless of being in a relationship. Emily, for example, asked, who do I need to be for amazing work opportunities to be natural in my life? And the answer that came intuitively was someone confident, creative, strategic, who adds value wherever they are. This question is crucial because it gets your subconscious to focus on internal transformation, not external manipulation. You're not trying to force the universe to give you something. You're becoming someone who naturally magnetizes that thing. Step 4. Total embodiment. The 11 sacred minutes. Now comes the most important part. For the next 11 timed minutes, no more, no less, you're going to literally live as this upgraded version of yourself. It's not visualization. It's not imagination. It's physical, emotional, and energetic embodiment. Start by feeling in your body how this new version of you would feel. If you're becoming a confident person, what would their posture be like? Gently straighten your shoulders. Lift your chin slightly. Feel your chest open, expanded. Breathe like someone confident would breathe, deeper, calmer, more centered. If you're stepping into someone prosperous, what would the feeling of abundance be like in your body? Maybe a sense of lightness, of flow, of generosity. How would someone prosperous smile? Let a gentle smile form naturally on your face. Emily told me that in the first days, she started by noticing how a confident person would sit. Not slouched, but also not rigid, with presence, like I belonged in the space I was taking up. Then she started breathing like that person would breathe, slower, deeper. Next, she felt what the heartbeat of someone centered and secure would be like. But don't stop at physical sensation. Go deeper. How would this version of you feel emotionally? If you're stepping into abundance, maybe you'd feel gratitude, generosity, flow, confidence about the future. If it's self-love, maybe you'd feel peace, acceptance, gentle caring for yourself. Let these emotions completely fill your chest, your whole body. Don't force it, but invite it. It's like putting on an emotional outfit that fits you perfectly. And go even deeper. How would this person think? What kind of thoughts would someone confident, prosperous, and fulfilled naturally have? Not thoughts about getting stuff, but thoughts that someone who already is these qualities would naturally have. Emily realized that the confident version of her thought things like, "What cool contribution can I offer today?" instead of, "I hope I don't mess anything up," or "What growth opportunity is this?" instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" During these 11 minutes, you live completely as this person. You breathe like them, feel like them, think like them, exist like them. It's a complete neural rehearsal of the new identity. And here's a crucial detail that makes all the difference. If during practice your analytical mind starts questioning, "This is silly, it's not working, this isn't real," just recognize these thoughts as voices from the old identity trying to keep the status quo. Don't fight them, but also don't buy into them. Gently go back to the embodiment. Step 5. Identity affirmation. In the last 2 minutes of practice, from minutes 9 to 11, you'll lock in this new identity through specific affirmations. But these aren't traditional affirmations about having stuff. They're declarations of identity in the present moment. Repeat mentally, feeling each word, "I am," characteristic of the new identity. If you're working on abundance, "I am naturally prosperous." If it's self-confidence, "I am centered and secure." If it's relationships, "I am worthy of deep, healthy love." The word "am" is crucial here, not "will be," "can be," or "want to be." Am, right now. Current identity. You're not affirming some desired future. You're declaring a present reality that your subconscious is being trained to recognize as true. Emily repeated, "I am professionally valuable. I am confident and creative. I am someone who adds value wherever I am." And most importantly, she felt the truth of these words in her body while repeating them. Repeat each affirmation 3 times, letting it resonate through your whole being. Not just in your mind, but in your heart, body, energy. It's like ringing an internal bell that vibrates with this new identity frequency. Step 6. Gratitude in advance. In the last minute of practice, you'll seal the rewiring with gratitude in advance, but not gratitude for what you want to receive. Gratitude for who you're becoming. Thank you for letting me recognize who I really am. Gratitude for this abundant life I already live through this new identity. Thank you for this upgraded version of myself that always existed and is now coming out. Gratitude in advance is powerful because it signals to your subconscious that the transformation has already happened. You're not waiting to become someone different. You're thanking for already being someone different. Emily always finished with, "Thank you for reminding me of who I always was underneath the fears and limitations. Thank you for this confident and valuable Emily who's emerging." After these 11 minutes, open your eyes slowly, take a deep breath, drink some water, and give yourself a few minutes of quiet integration before going back to normal activities. Your brain needs time to process and integrate the new neural information. Now here's where most people make the huge mistake. They practice for a few days, don't see immediate external changes, and quit. But deep neurological rewiring takes time. Joe discovered through his research that you need a minimum of 21 days to form stable new neural pathways and 66 days for them to become automatic. Emily practiced religiously for 42 straight days, March 19th to April 29th, 2023, before seeing dramatic external changes. But she noticed measurable internal changes in how she felt, reacted, thought, right in the first 7 days. "Transformation happens from the inside out," she said. "First you change, then your reality changes to reflect who you've become." And there's something even more incredible about this technique that very few people know, something that goes beyond neuroscience and touches on how consciousness interacts with reality. There's something about the 11:11 time that goes beyond brain science. Physicists who study how the universe works are discovering that consciousness doesn't come from the brain. It's fundamental in the universe. The brain is more like a radio receiver that picks up consciousness. And there are specific moments when our consciousness can connect more easily with what they call the field of infinite possibilities. 11:11 is one of those moments. It's not superstition, it's math. When the clock shows 11:11, 4 identical numbers line up, creating perfect symmetry. And the universe loves symmetry, from the structure of atoms to galaxies. This symmetry resonates with the structure of reality, creating a time portal where consciousness can sync with specific frequencies. That's why so many people feel a natural pull toward 11:11. Joe discovered that when you combine the neurological technique with this time alignment, something extraordinary happens in your energy field. You start vibrating at a frequency that's in tune not only with your conscious intentions, but with matching quantum possibilities. It's like tuning into a cosmic radio station, he explained in a lecture. When you're on the right frequency, you get the signal crystal clear, and the universe responds to that alignment. Emily experienced this in a documented and measurable way. 6 months after starting the practice, September 2023, she started writing down in a notebook what she called interesting coincidences, significant events happening way too often to be random. It was like the universe had become my dance partner, she told me in our December video call. I'd take a strategic step toward my goals, and immediately 2 or 3 opportunities would show up to amplify that move. Organic networking that turned into profitable partnerships. She landed a $3,200 consulting gig through a casual conversation at Whole Foods. Ideas that came up during morning meditation, and that same day, she'd find exactly the resources to make them happen. An apartment in Cherry Creek, that cost $200 above her budget, became available exactly when the landlord decided to lower the rent. But the most incredible thing, Emily continued, is that I wasn't anxious or desperate for these things anymore. I knew, with cellular certainty, that I deserved them, and they'd come at the right time. This confidence totally changed how I related to opportunities. And when you practice 11:11 consistently, you don't just change your reality, you become an elevation point for people around you. Emily documented this too. After I started, she told me, my daughter improved 2-letter grades in math without any extra tutoring. My mom started taking painting classes she'd always wanted, but never had the courage for. Even my neighbor mentioned that she felt more motivated after our casual garden chats. This happens because at the deepest level, we're all connected. When you raise your frequency, you automatically invite others to raise theirs too. You become a living beacon of possibility. And there's one last thing I need to tell you, because it's about how the practice evolves over time, and how to know that transformation is really happening. After a few months practicing 11:11, something cool starts happening. The technique naturally evolves from active rewiring to spontaneous expression. You no longer need to effort to step into your new identity. It genuinely becomes who you are. In month 8, Emily told me in our last conversation, December 2023, I realized I wasn't doing the technique anymore. I was just being who I'd become. 11:11 became daily celebration, gratitude for the new version, instead of effort to transform something. This is the natural evolution. First months actively rewiring, then reinforcing. In the end, simply expressing who you've become. It's like renovating a house. Starts with effort, then becomes decorating. Finally, you just live in the new house. But how do you know if it's working? There are clear signs and, in Emily's case, even measurable ones. First sign. Your automatic reactions change. Situations that used to stress, irritate, or scare you start affecting you differently. You respond with more calm, clarity, confidence. Emily noticed this in week 3 when she got an unexpected bill from the IRS for $847. Before, I would have totally panicked, lost sleep, called my mom crying. This time I took a deep breath and thought, okay, this is a problem that has a solution. I'll research payment plans and negotiate. First time I felt my new identity running automatically in a crisis. Second sign. People start treating you differently, even without you saying anything about your transformation. They respond to your new energy, presence, frequency. Emily documented this in detail. Techstars colleagues started coming to me for strategic opinions. Friends mentioned that I seemed more centered and in my power. Even the Starbucks barista started chatting more, making those genuine connections that didn't happen before. Third sign. Coincidences become routine statistics. Emily actually made a spreadsheet of this. 67 significant coincidences between May and December 2023. And there's one more sign, maybe the most important. You stop obsessively worrying about when things will happen. Deep peace settles in. Anxiety about financial future just disappeared, Emily told me. Not because I had $100K in the bank, I was still paying off debt, but because I knew at a cellular level that I was aligned with the version that naturally solves problems and creates opportunities. Emily, 10 months after starting January 2024, our most recent conversation, summed up her transformation with a phrase I think perfectly captures the power of this technique. I stopped trying to achieve a better life. I became a person who naturally lives an extraordinary life. The difference is subtle in words, but revolutionary in experience. It's worth noting, Emily isn't a one-off case, but she's also not a guarantee that everyone will have identical results. Personal transformation depends on multiple factors: consistency in practice, openness to change, individual circumstances. What works for one person might have a different timeline for another. If you're wondering if this works for anyone, the answer is yes, with a caveat. You need to be genuinely willing to become someone different from who you are today. Lots of people want their life to change drastically, but want to stay exactly the same person. Emily had to let go of certain beliefs about herself. I'm a victim of circumstances. I don't deserve a high salary. Relationships always end badly. It wasn't just applying the technique, it was allowing identity evolution. The 11-11 technique isn't about getting stuff while staying the same. It's about conscious evolution. It's about letting the most elevated, authentic, powerful version emerge and become your new operating system. And when that happens, everything you always wanted shows up naturally. Emily didn't force Techstars to create a position for her. She became the type of person that companies like Techstars naturally want to hire. Now, before you start practicing tonight, because I know you're going to try today, I want you to do something important. It's a ritual that Emily did, and it locks in intention powerfully. In the comments, write exactly what version of yourself you want to become. Not what you want to have, but who you want to be. If you want prosperity, I become a naturally abundant person. Healthy relationship. I become someone who naturally gives and attracts love. Professional success. I become someone who adds value and attracts opportunities. Making a public declaration serves three purposes. It locks in intention in the physical through writing, creates social commitment, connects you with a community on the same journey. And if you want to keep getting advanced techniques, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. In the next video, I'll show you how to supercharge your 11-11 practice with an amplification technique that Joe only teaches in his expensive in-person workshops. But remember, at 11-11 at night, you're not making a wish to the universe. You're reconnecting with who you really are, underneath all the layers of conditioning and fear. The transformation you're looking for isn't out there waiting. It's inside you, waiting for conscious recognition. You don't need to become someone totally new. You need to become who you were always meant to be. Tonight, at 11-11, you're going to take the first step of this journey back to your inner home. Emily did it. Thousands have already done it. Now it's your turn. Your new life doesn't start tomorrow. It starts tonight when you consciously decide to step into the upgraded version that's always existed within you. I believe in you. More importantly, it's time for you to believe in yourself in a way that goes beyond hope and enters the territory of cellular certainty. Tonight at 11-11, your transformation journey begins for real. I can't wait to hear about your results in the comments of the next videos. Until then, remember, you already are everything you need to be. You just gotta remember that.